Here's some exciting news for everyone that enjoy church. Our service times are changing. Beginning September 21st, catch us at our Alton campus every Sunday morning at 9:05 and 10:35 a.m. You can also join us at our Collinsville campus every Sunday at 10:25 a.m. Wednesday nights are happening at 7 p.m. at our Alton campus, and come check out our Saturday services in Alton every Saturday night at 5 p.m. No matter who you are, we've got a service for you. Join us this weekend at Enjoy Church. Get details and directions at enjoychurch.tv.
Let's get started right away in this. Hopefully you have your outlines. Those of you online, you can follow along with the outline right there. The first type of person, we're going to just talk about 6 of them real quick that are difficult people to deal with. Now, there's probably 30, but I'm going to only cover 6. We're going to talk, we could get really specific, but we're going to group these together. Number 1 is demanding people. These are the little dictators in life. These are the people that get a stereotype. They get the nickname Hitler at work. I hope you don't have the nickname Hitler at home. That's kind of rough when, you got a nickname from your kids. That's Hitler in there, little Hitler. Anyway, these are the bossy people, the pushy people, the controlling people. They insist on their way all the time. They intimidate to get their way. They dominate. Every conversation turns towards them. They take charge of it. And a lot of times these people, these demanding people, they put unrealistic expectations on your time, on your energy, effort, and they turn just about everything into a power struggle of who is going to win. These are the demanding people. You've met these type of people before, and these are the type of people that for them, everything is a win or a loss. And so that we'll talk about that. Number 2, disapproving people. This is the nitpickers in life. The nitpickers in life are picky. They're highly critical. They're negative. They're judgmental. They're unpleasable perfectionists typically. They love to point out your mistakes. They have a tendency to focus on what's wrong instead of what's right. I want you to know something. There's always something wrong. We don't live in a perfect world. There's only one thing perfect. His name is Jesus. But everything else is not perfect. Now, we have a culture of excellence here at Enjoy Church. The way that works is we do our best with the knowledge and with the understanding that we can always do it a little bit better. We can always have a little bit room for improvement, but that as we have given our best for that day, we're satisfied with our best that we've given that day. We never take the path of least resistance, or we're not supposed to be anyway, right? And we never settle for that's good enough. But at the same time, we realize this: we're all human beings. We all live in an imperfect world, and as long as we're doing our best, listen, you can criticize anything. Have you ever met somebody, well, it's good, what you cooked is good, but And then you should have had a little more sugar. You should have had a little less sugar. You should have been cooked a little more. It should have been cooked a little less. Have you ever been around people that just can't be happy? They have to nitpick. These type of people drain you because there's a subconscious underlying, I can never please this person when you're in their presence. And then there's the deafening person. The deafening person are the megaphones in life. They talk at 120 decibels. They're talkaholics, loudmouths. You know that if you ever get on the phone with this person, it's the person that when the phone rings, how many of you know you look at your phone and how many of you know you're not home? Your phone rings. This is when you know you got a talkaholic, is when the phone rings and I'm conveniently not home right now. And you do that on a subconscious level. And the reason you do it is because you know if you take that phone call, that's a 25-minute phone call, right? And you're busy. You've got stuff to do. You can't take that call right now. Somebody knows somebody, don't they? Yeah. And those are the type of people that when you're talking to them, finally you just say, I surrender all to Jesus. I surrender. Help me, Jesus, right? For some reason, I feel like that's hitting close to home. Number 4, these are the destructive people. These are the people that we have met in our lives. Possibly you have some of these people in your lives. And that are the destructive people, the volcanoes in life. You never know when they're going to erupt. They have a temper like Mount St. Helens. They will blow up when you don't know they're going to blow up. They scorch burning lava on everything around them when they do blow up. Their family lives in fear and in constant tension. And there are always a lot of casualties in their relationships because you just walk on eggshells because you don't know when they're going to lose it. Some tipping point thing tips them over the crazy. This is a series, it's called The Crazy, making me crazy. And that tipping point tips us over. Aren't you glad we're studying this stuff? The Bible talks about how to handle this stuff, and really, you can't control another human being, but you sure can control your own life. And then the 5th one is the disconnected. The disconnected. These are the people who are the crybabies in life. These are the people who, when things don't go their way, they get their feelings hurt. They take everything personal. They're very touchy. They definitely have a daily pity party, feeling sorry for themselves. They're the victim, poor me. Typically, it shows up because they show up with chronic complaining. They have a martyr complex, and they like to get attention by, look at me, look how bad things are. This didn't go right. This didn't get, another day, I'm disappointed, another day. Yeah, it's bad again. Things are bad again. Now, we all know people like that, and I'm going to help you with people like that in just a minute. And then the last one is this, demeaning people. Demeaning people are the sarcastic, filled with sarcasm, smart mouth people that always bust bubbles. They love to deflate. You got a new car and then they tell you the report on how you just bought the worst car. You just spent $30,000 on a car and they told you how they read about how that car's engine only lasts this long and the brakes are not good and they blow up and kill people, and they're always trying to pop your bubble. And they're typically rude, insulting. They use a lot of caustic, cancerous language, many times disrespectful. They get petty and unrealistic. And we know those people. Now, you could lump all those together. You could separate them. You could divide them up into groups. Here's the truth. The truth is we live in a world with imperfect people that aren't perfect, and we're in that group, right? We all probably have one or two of these elements working in our lives. And maybe when we heard these, some conviction maybe set in our own hearts. A little bit, maybe. Because, hey, it's easy to look at other people and point out their faults, but the truth is none of us have it all together. Now, hopefully you're all followers of Jesus Christ. You've accepted him as your personal Savior, and he's your Lord. And since that's the case, there's a desire in you, because you're a new person, to renew your mind and to walk this thing out and become the person that God says that you can become. You can control you, you can work on you, and you can become a better person. But what's difficult is dealing with other people that you cannot control. Working with them, living with them, being married to them, having them as your babies. They're called children. Good night. Anyway, what was I preaching about, right? How to deal with difficult people. That's what we're talking about. Number one, this is just a basic foundation that the Bible teaches us. And what I've discovered in my life in dealing with people is that I have more success if I will make up some general rules for myself before I'm in the middle of conflict. Because if I wait till I'm in the middle of conflict with people, it's hard to do what I'm going to teach you right now. What I'm going to teach you right now, in order to do these, you cannot wait till you are in the middle of a war of words, or someone's being passive aggressive with you. They're smiling, but they're stabbing you in the back. How you doing? I love you. And it's hard. But if you will, and I will ahead of time, make some decisions ahead of time that we're going to do what we're going to do. Number one, the first thing you've got to do is refuse to be offended. And you need to just identify yourself, label yourself this way, and draw a circle that says, that's a person who never gets offended. Now, draw that circle emotionally and mentally in your life. Draw the circle. Come on, do it with me right now. Everybody draw it. Okay. 3 of you didn't draw. I saw you. You're the offenders, right? Okay, draw the circle again. That's a person that doesn't get offended. Now I want you to step into the circle emotionally and mentally in your mind, and then wear the label on your shirt, but wear it on your heart that says, I just refuse. I refuse to be offended. Now, someone says, well, aren't there certain things that should offend you? Yes, there are. Let me name a few of them. There are certain things that are offendable. When you see someone being abused, that is offendable to the Lord. That's injustice, whether it's a child, whether it's a human being. You see injustice being done, it should be offensive to us to see people go without food. That should be offendable to us. I tell you, one thing that offends me is poverty. Not being in poverty, but the spirit of poverty, where we embrace a mentality, either as a culture or individually, a culture of not enough, that God's not enough, and that there's not enough to go around, and that we embrace the psychology of poverty. That's a whole nother series, but it's offendable to the Lord. It should be offendable to us. Racism is offendable to the Lord. Totally offendable. There should be no racism anywhere in the world, let alone anywhere in the body of Christ, for sure. Zero. So are the things to be offended at? Yes. But when it comes to people and relationships, that's what we're talking about, okay? So I'm talking to you about how to deal with people, how to love people, how to get past the difficult people in our life. Draw a circle that says, I refuse to be offended, and get in that thing. That is a difficult one to do if you wait till someone is disrespecting you or challenging you or giving you the finger on the highway. The time to decide this is in church now, so that in order to keep your head together when you're on the road, have you ever accidentally pulled in front of someone? Or, yeah, we've all done that. Have you ever had someone accidentally pull in front of you? We offend each other. We're human beings. People are people, and people are people everywhere you go. on the highway, on the byway, on the sidewalk, at Schnucks, at the gym, everywhere you go. People are people, and people will be people. Make our minds up. We are not going to be offended. By the way, this one principle right here is a barometer. It's an indicator of emotional and spiritual maturity, probably just about more than any other thing. There's a lot of people with head knowledge that know the Bible. The Pharisees knew the Bible. They knew the law, but man, they were always offended. And spiritual maturity and emotional growing up emotionally and being secure and stable and knowing who you are. The factor that really indicates to us if you're a grown-up or not is how offendable you get. Proverbs 12, verse 16, when a fool is annoyed, he quickly lets it be known. Wise people ignore an insult. A fool, when they get offended, everybody knows it. That's why I said your level of maturity is typically displayed by how you respond to this. A fool, when a fool's offended, everybody in their sphere knows it, and a few people outside of their sphere know it because they're talking about it. I'll tell you right now. And they're telling everybody. You know what I mean? Make allowances for one another. Blessed are the merciful, for they will receive mercy. They really will. Number 2, don't wait for an apology. I've heard that a lot of times. I'll forgive them. I'll let it go when they apologize, when they get their head right, when they get their heart right. I'll forgive them. I'll let this thing go. Hey, that may never happen. They may never do that, and it eats you up. It's like you drinking the poison, trying to poison them when you won't forgive them. When you won't let it go, you're poisoning you. Love overlooks a wrong. Proverbs 10:12. You decide you're going to overlook the wrong. You know, we've said this through this series. We'll probably say it a few more times. One of the best things that you can do that will help you grow up and help you look past their offense is the ability to look at their pain, the reason they're crazy, I'm telling you right now, the reason they're crazy is because they're either hurting, it was the way they were raised. Okay, let me say it again. It was either they were hurting, they were abused, the way they were raised, or it was family iniquities that were passed down. The Bible calls it generational curses, just like you can pass down generational blessing. You can pass down generational curses where you see stuff, I bet you've seen this, in your children that your grandparents or your parents dealt with, and you didn't teach them. Your home's different. But your kid is acting like grandpa. And it's like, we don't do that in our home, but grandpa did when I was growing up. You know what I'm saying? Just keep looking this way. You could see that stuff go on. That's generational curses. So when you get offended and when you see crazy going on in your world, just know this. The reason that they're crazy is because they've been hurt. They've got some iniquities. They haven't grown up. Now, have compassion on them for that. And it really begins to help you to minister to them in that way. It really, how many of you know, it is not smart to ignore God's directions, right? And Jesus gave us an example. He said, Father, forgive them. They don't know what they're doing. And many times when people go crazoid on us, it's that they don't know what they're doing. They're reacting. They're not responding. They're reacting to feelings going on the inside. Let me just take it a step further. You can't reason with crazy. Yeah, you can't. There's no logic with crazy. When you get crazy, and these people we just listed, and we're all a little bit crazy. You're all just a little bit weird, all right? We value your weirdness. In fact, we need your weirdness because you are unique and you're special. Crazy people are crazy because they've had some things go on in their life. And when it's crazy in their heart, it's not because they logically, systematically put the math together and said, this logic makes me respond and react this way. They're crazy because of feelings and emotions that don't make sense. Are you with me? Yeah. This helps you understand and have a little bit of compassion on them and not try to change them. When you think that you will bring the logic into the equation, oh, I can take them to school and I can train them and I can teach them, you will become very frustrated, very disappointed, because the more logic you bring to the table, the more frustrated it makes them, because they're not operating in the realm of logic. They're operating in the realm of emotion and crazy. And so you have to look past that and you have to begin to love them. Number 3, refuse to gossip about them. This is a big one. This is huge in relationships, because let's admit it, it's impossible. It's almost impossible not to talk about someone when they've hurt you, right? It's not impossible, but it's almost impossible, because they've hurt you and the pain is there. You want to tell somebody, don't you? Now, as Christians, we learn how to mask it. Like, I'm going to gossip to you. Come here, I just want to pour the gossip out about, sister so-and-so, brother so-and-so. We don't use sister and brother too much anymore, but you know what I'm saying. We want to talk about it. So we mask it with like, hey, would you come and pray with me? We want to pray for them, okay? Because let me tell you what they did. So I want you to pray with me, because we love them, don't we? We love them. They need hands laid on them. It's hard, man. It's hard when someone you work with or someone in your family, someone that hurts you. It's hard not to gossip about them, but we really, really need to work on that one. Proverbs 17:9, disregarding another person's fault preserves love, but gossip separates friends. You can't play that tit for tat, repay evil with evil, wrong with wrong. You have to decide the put downs, the hurt. I am going to let this stuff go. Are you with me? Now, I told you this is much like a course, and what you do in a course is you don't just listen to it one time and study it one time. If you're going to get this stuff, really own it, where it becomes part of the way you do your life, you're going to have to listen to this, study your notes, listen to the MP3s, download the MP3s, buy the DVDs, whatever you do. Get this stuff in your soul. Typically, it's going to take repetition to get this. Oh, yeah, because you won't get it right the first time. Guys, I'm still working on this. You're still working on this. We're going to be working on this for a while. But I want you to view this like a course. Number 4, refuse to play their games. Because when people are crazy, I've discovered they are game players. The strongest, most prevalent crazy people are the passive aggressives. They're everywhere in the world. You work with them. You may be married to one. You may have one as your parent or 2. You may have some as your children. You may have one as your brother, as your sister. You may have a neighbor. You may have a coworker, an employee or an employer. You cannot enter the game of passive aggressive. Don't do it. And if you have a tendency to do that because you don't have the courage to go face to face, so you deal with passive aggressive behavior, I want to just challenge you today to say to you, man, that damages a relationship more than you could ever realize. Don't play those type of games. See, that's what the Pharisees were. They were very passive aggressive type people. And I just want to encourage you, don't do that. 2 Corinthians 4:2, we reject all shameful and underhanded methods. That's what the Bible's talking about. An underhanded method is something you don't see overtly. It's like, yeah, I'm offended at you, but man, I know I'm not supposed to be, so I don't want to let anybody know. I don't want to let you know, so here's what I'm going to do. In an underhanded type way, You pull the carpet out, you pull the rug out. Oh, baby, how'd that happen to you? You were the one that did it. You're there and you're praying for him. Lord, just heal him, Jesus. That poor carpet pulled out. And you, behind the scenes, were the one that did it, but you didn't do it in front of him. And if you're the one that has the carpet pulled out, don't play the game back. Okay? And so Proverbs 22:10 says, throw out the mocker and get rid of the tension and the fighting and the quarrels. Time to leave. I'll love you across town. I'll love you from a distance. We're going to talk about how that tough love comes into play in the boundaries. See, this is the nitty gritty. This is the real stuff. Oh, I thought I just had to love unconditionally. You do love unconditionally, but there comes a time of protection where you protect the vision, the value of the family, and there's a time where you say, enough is enough. Oh, no, enough is enough. We've warned you. We've talked to you about this. You continue to behave this way. For your sake, we love you. If we just continue to put up with this, you probably will never change. You need to feel a little bit of discomfort in this, and you're welcome back when you repent. Paul said that. When you get it right and you humble yourself and admit, come back, come on back. But we've warned you, we've talked about it. Are you with me? Yes. Can you handle that? Yes. And then number 5, refuse to cave in. Just refuse to cave in. And that means that you don't quit. That just means you don't quit. You hang in there. Don't allow yourself to even consider quitting. You hang in there. And then let me give you the last one because we're out of time. Number 6, always take the high ground. This is huge. We're always faced with options, aren't we? Every day we've got options. We have choices every day. And I want to encourage you every day, make your mind up. This is the day to make your mind up ahead of time, not when you're in the middle of hurt or pain. Make your mind up. I'll take the high ground. I'll take the high ground. It doesn't matter what people think. I'm going to take the high ground. I won't talk about them. I've got an opportunity to hurt them right now. Oh, I could hurt them right now. But I'm not going to do it. I'm going to take the high ground. I want to encourage you to do that. Amen? You have the ability to work on you. Romans chapter 12, by the way, if you want to read a chapter, it shows us how to do that. You can do that. You can read those verses.
That was an amazing message, and I know you'll want a free copy on DVD. Just go to our website at enjoychurch.tv or call the number on your screen. We'd love for you to come out and join us here at Enjoy Church. There's so many awesome things happening, and we also have an exciting online campus that we would love for you to check out. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
Here's some exciting news for everyone that enjoy church. Our service times are changing. Beginning September 21st, catch us at our Alton campus every Sunday morning at 9:05 and 10:35 a.m. You can also join us at our Collinsville campus every Sunday at 10:25 a.m. Wednesday nights are happening at 7 p.m. at our Alton campus, and come check out our Saturday services in Alton every Saturday night at 5 p.m. No matter who you are, we've got a service for you. Join us this weekend at Enjoy Church. Get details and directions at enjoychurch.tv.